Another day, another moment. A lovely, lovely day from the nation's capital. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. At 5 p.m. we'll have with us the Reverend Dr. Lawrence Bropley. A whole lot of things to discuss, very significant to the nation. At 4 p.m. we will place a spotlight on the rape case involving former suspended Deputy Youth and Sports Minister for Development, Bryant McGill. We will have with us our law enforcement expert, Alfred Johnson, to discuss that. But before him, we will speak with Massa to give us details of the case. And hopefully we can hear from lawyers as well. Before that, we'll talk everything else that matters. We will place a huge spotlight, a beginning portion, as a matter of fact, a part one discussion on Liberia's resources. We'll start to reveal to you some very important details of some things that have been happening. Former President George Weah is returning to the country today.
Lies and delusion, but you never know that this is the conclusion. No chance, no hope for those who kept it a-going, 'cause you never know that the truth was shown.
Okay.
And if you're living,
So we'll take a break. After our break, not a break now. We do our regular. As a matter of fact, we want to say thanks to all of you. Dennis Japa and his madam, they have made it. They have made it to the top 5 of the Momo Heroes of Change, and so I'm told the voting resumes this week. So today, every day. So just grab your Lone Star phones now. Let all of us do it. All of us do it. Do it. Let's do it. Grab your Lone Star phones right now. It is free, as a matter of fact. Very, very free. Let's dial that code to start voting for them. We want them to win this thing. We hosted them here. We told you how significant this is. They are providing life-transforming health services, healthcare to people in rural Liberia, especially 2 counties, Sino and Grand Cru. They need all of the support that we can give them. They've made it to the top 5. I believe this is the final voting week. Yeah, so every day we have to do that. So I'm going to the code. Is your Lone Star phone in your hand now? Grab it. Let's do it together. Let's send them at least 100,000 votes. If 50,000 of you listening to me with your Lone Star phones, So let's go. So it is an everyday thing. You can vote one time. Your one-time voting is 2 votes. So when you finish voting, you can vote again until tomorrow. So let's go. Star 415 star 1008 star 2 star 1 hash. Did you get it? Star 415 star 1008 star 2 star 1 hash. Then you send. That's a Lone Star number you're doing that on. So they have told me congratulations. I can be waiting for all of us to vote along. So they have told me congratulations. You have successfully voted for Dennis and Vera Japa as a preferred contestant. Keep voting Dennis and Vera to increase. So yep, let's do it again for those of you who were not listening for us, or you were trying to grab your phone and you couldn't do it. So again, let's go to the code. At least 50,000 of you listening to me should be voting. Let Lone Star people know that these people deserve this. So star 415 star 1008 star 2 star 1 hash. Yeah? Then you send, in case you didn't do it first. If you did it first and you do it again, they will tell you something. They will tell you have reached your daily vote limit. You can continue voting tomorrow. But if you didn't do it, your vote has gone through. Thanks so kindly. We appreciate you. And we continue tomorrow. People should always let's do this until at such time when we hear that voting has closed. This, people are sending me their stuff that they have voted. Thanks so kindly to you for voting. I mean, you that send anything, Jana, you looking like you buy me. I know if that man or woman, but the person I will not say man. I know he laughing. Okay, the person sweetheart. Only actually, you know, they did a screenshot, they didn't crop. The person has sweetheart. There they go. Something I need, my love. I'm sure now the person with the sweetheart. So to the person with the name, my love, I won't call the name, but it's there. The name is there. Then my love. They got 2 love emoji there. Then to sweetheart. To sweetheart, the mega 4 love emoji there. They're back to back calling you. The man calling them back to back. Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break. What? Sorry, I'm just trying to, just trying to spice up. It's not time for the break yet. Let's go this way. But thanks so kindly for voting, my friend. Thanks so kindly. We appreciate that. The Nigerian government has received 148 citizens repatriated from Sudan as part of efforts to evacuate Nigerians stranded abroad. The returnees include 25 men, 27 women, 39 boys, and 57 girls. The evacuation comes amid Sudan's civil war, which erupted in April 2023 between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. The conflict has killed over 150,000 people, displaced more than 11 million, and left millions facing famine as the country's economy and infrastructure collapse. The world's largest supplier of cobalt, the Democratic Republic of Congo, has reportedly announced plans to lift its nearly 8-month ban on cobalt export in October. The country imposed a ban in February after prices hit a 9-year low, with a pound sold for only $10. According to Reuters, the DRC's Minerals Regulatory Authority announced that in place of a ban, an annual export quota system will be instituted to allow miners to ship specific amounts of mineral annually. Miners are only allowed to ship up to 96,000 tons of the precious mineral next year and in 2027. And South African police say they have dismantled a crystal methamphetamine laboratory. We can call it for short, we say meth. The full name is methamphetamine. A laboratory with drugs worth $20 million discovered on a farm in the east of the country. 5 people from a North American country have been arrested, while 2 others believed to be from West African countries fled the scene, a statement said. Police photographs show industrial manufacturing equipment along with weighing scales and lunch boxes filled with the illegal drug. Yes, indeed. Share the video, invite others to join in. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Welcome to it. Let's take a very quick break with some of our sponsors. When we come back, we will take our fact check. After that, we rumble into the issues that really do matter. Nowhere else but only on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Yeah.
Mama, who takes care of development in our country?
We all do, my baby. You see, every time we pay our taxes, we are taking care of our country, Mama Liberia. Taxes help provide clean water, safe communities, and jobs for our people. When you pay your tax, Liberia grows.
Be proud, be responsible. Pay your taxes for a better Liberia. Pay tax, we all enjoy.
Things are on me, with the emergency. How do I manage again?
Potano, why are you sitting here just talking by yourself?
Julie, I need money quick. I won't go find somebody to credit me. Then I will pay them as soon as I get paid with the more in.
EcoBank can credit you, but the only thing you have to pay in 1 month, and the good thing, the interest are just 3%.
For you?
Yeah, just go to any EcoBank branch and you ask for the form to enroll you on their salary advance platform. When they give you the form, you fill it up and you make sure your HR sign it. Then you take that form back to the bank. After you carry it to the bank, they will send you a message to let you know that you're already on the platform. Then you can use the *326# and request for 50% of your salary. Instantly, you will receive it.
Wow, just like that? Bring any to more money, Judy. I'm going to the bank to pick up the phone quick.
Yo, go get the form quick. In less than 1 week, you will receive the money. And what I like about it, and they can't even ask you for collateral set.
I'm going there right now, no wasting time, oh.
I'm not saying you must not go there right now. You must make sure you pay the bank money back.
Hey, Judy, that you talking so, I will pay back quick so I can credit again. EcoBank not easy, oh. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Welcome back to the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Let's take our fact check.
The fact check segment. The segment debunks disinformation and it provides the verified facts of statements made online and on the radio. My name is Siawe Miapu and today we'll be fact checking claims made in the last couple of days. To begin with, over the weekend, Nimba County Senator Yan Ditoyan Jonion, he claimed in a Facebook post that Asila Mentor had admitted on the oath that the iron ore concentrator in Nimba is worth 250 million and not 1.4 billion as previously announced. Senator Tayan made this claim on September 20 while accusing the company of taking over 25 lawmakers on a luxurious trip to his concession site for a secret meeting, which he argued could undermine the ongoing Senate hearing on Islamic Liberia. To verify this claim, we contacted the senator through WhatsApp, asking for the source of his information. Senator Tayan did not respond to our inquiry up to the production of this fact-check report. We will update this report once he provides the source of the information. We then searched the internet and could not find an official press release from Asila Mentor, the Liberian Senate, or an independent audit that confirms a formal admission by the AML reducing the worth of the concentrator to 250 million. Meanwhile, we found an official AML release on its website revealing that the iron ore concentrator is the central component of its US $1.8 billion Phase 2 expansion project in Liberia. Key areas of the Phase 2 project include the construction of the concentrator, rail infrastructure and operations, Buchanan port expansion, and social economic impact and sustainability. Based on our findings, we conclude that the claim made by Senator Yan Tayan that Asila Liberia has admitted The iron ore concentrator in Nimba is worth US 250 million rather than US 1.4 billion is unproven. We have found no publicly available authoritative document showing AML formally acknowledged the plant's value as US 250 million, nor any official statement confirming the US 1.4 billion figure. We've contacted Senator Tyan for the source of his statement and will update this report once evidence is provided. And finally, on Saturday, September 20, journalist Charles Yates, he posted a picture of an airstrip claiming that it is a private airstrip used by Bill Mountain Mining Company in the middle of a jungle in Grand Cape Mount County to airlift gold and other minerals. Journalist Yates made this post to point to a deviation by the company from its MD without any government representative to monitor the shipment. To verify whether the picture posted by the Liberian journalist is actually an airstrip in Grand Cape Mount County, we conducted a reversed image search. Our search results show that the image was originally posted on Flakes, an image and video hosting service, Alaskan Dude, on April 6, 2011. The same picture was used in a November 8, 2016 article by Fly Magazine about the Recreational Aviation Foundation's airstrip Owner's Guide to provide information for private airstrip owners. Based on these findings, we conclude that the image posted by journalist Charles Yates depicting the private airstrip owned by Bear Mountain Mining Company in Grand Cape Mount County is incorrect. The image is not from Liberia. It originally appeared online on April 6, 2011 in the United States of America. This is all we have time for on the Fact Check segment. This segment is part of an MOU between Local Voices Liberia, OKFM, Prime FM, and KL Radio to counter disinformation to help the public make informed decisions. This MOU is funded by the Liberia Media Empowerment Project implemented by Internews with funding from the European Union. The funder partner had absolutely no say in the electoral decision leading to the production of this fact check segment. But if you want us to fact check a claim for you, please send us a text to WhatsApp on 0777 556296 and we will check for you. Also, follow us on Facebook at Local Voices Liberia, on Twitter at LTheEarthFactCheck, and go to our website at www.localvoicesliberia.com. I'm Siawe Miapu. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.
And welcome back. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. We are right here. So it was interesting. Weekend of sporting activities. Our own Facel from Liberia drew with the Algerian team here. 0-0. Facel should be traveling to Algeria for the second leg in the CAF Champions League qualifiers. In Europe, Chelsea still having quite a stuttering start to the Premier League. Were beaten by low-flying Manchester United after some very interesting decisions by the referee and also a very dodgy coaching response to an early red card. We saw Arsenal and Manchester City drawing, Liverpool beating their perennial rivals, Everton. Madrid winning, Barcelona winning. Tonight should be the Ballon d'Or ceremony. But it is interesting, some of the rumors I'm hearing that Lamine Yamal may win. I'm not against it. I think he's a young guy with talent. He could certainly someday be a Ballon d'Or winner. But, you know, no, he was not the best player on Barcelona. He was not the best player in his league. He was not the best player in the tournament they went for. He was not the best player in the Champions League. How can he win the Ballon d'Or? That one will be very, I don't know. At least you have to in any subject in a class you didn't do. Your class you didn't do. In your school you didn't do. But then when they come to do for the whole country and they say you didn't want to, well, I don't know, but these things can be like that sometimes. So Charlie Kirk, we all know he was killed. A conservative Christian activist, a big Trump fellow, and his death made him to become more known universally. Some of us started to hear about him, watch a whole lot of videos about him. So it was the memorial, whatever it was, for him last evening in the U.S. And of course, tens of thousands of people trunked the stadium, the inside and outside, including U.S. President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and all top-level people in the government. As a matter of fact, it is a Republican government, and he was a Republican, and they delivered some speeches. Of course, Trump in Trump style came with the the unsurprising kind of things that he would say. But let's hear Erica, the embodiment of a very strong woman who has just lost a very young husband, she herself young. But she had this to say about the fellow who allegedly killed her husband.
That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
So she has forgiven, she says she has forgiven the young man who, like Jesus would do on the cross, and forgave those who were jeering him, who had him hanging on the cross and all that. So she forgives him as well. Of course, in this case, as well, they say forgiveness doesn't stop punishment. It doesn't mean the case won't go on. It's just that for herself, the heart of heaviness and everything else, yep. She had this to say as well.
After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting. We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival. This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade. We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives.
And of course, Trump in Trump style. Trump in Trump style, as you already know, he came up with this.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent. Charlie's angry. Looking down, he's angry at me now.
So, of course, you hear him. That's Donald Trump. As blunt and as bold and as clear as possible. He said, well, that's where Charlie always tries to he doesn't hate his opponents. He tries to love them. He tries to talk to them. That's why we disagree. That's what me, Trump, I hate my opponent. I don't like that. I don't want anything good for my opponent. But that's it. Again, we say rest in peace, Charlie. Charlie is one of those people, very special people. I'm convinced, there are some very special people that God creates. They may not stay long on earth. The Martin Luther King Jr.'s of this world, they may be controversial. They will not be perfect human beings. They will say stuff. They will do stuff. But it seems they have a certain mission, and sometimes in their death, they become more powerful than when they were alive. God sometimes makes those kinds of people, and He knows why He does it the way He does it. So that is that. One advice before we go into the issues, and this advice very important. Let's hear it. Pastor Philip.
Notice that the wise virgins did not give oil to the foolish virgins. Let me explain to you what that means. It means that, watch, salvation is not transferable. Readiness is not transferable. You cannot give readiness away to somebody else. This is why in the story Jesus said the wise virgins said no to the foolish virgins. We can't give you our oil because you cannot give somebody your salvation. You cannot give somebody a readiness, i.e., what Jesus is trying to communicate, everybody when He comes will be responsible for being ready on their own. See, I'm talking to all of you teenagers who was raised in Christian homes and you think the faith of your parents is going to get you into heaven. I'm talking to all of you who have Christian friends and you think the faith of your friends are going to get you into heaven. I'm talking to all of you who have a saved spouse and you think the saved spouse is going to get you into heaven. I'm talking to all of you who have outgrowths and you look like a Christian on the outside, but in the inside you are far away from God. Listen to me. You can have Christian friends. You can attend a Christian church. You can go to Christian conferences, listen to Christian podcasts, read Christian books, and not be a believer.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. That's not what we wanted, but of course, that's still not bad. Something doesn't seem to be right here. Something doesn't seem to be right, but that's okay. Let's go into different things. Let's start from the executive mansion. Let's start from the executive mansion. Start from the executive mansion, where it says President Joseph Newman Boakai has joined fellow heads of state and government in New York to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, emphasizing Liberia's enduring commitment to multilateralism and global peace. The commemorative program featured a special session in the UN General Assembly Hall, where UN officials and world leaders reflected on 8 decades of the organization's achievements, while also highlighting the urgent need to strengthen collective action in addressing global challenges. Following the anniversary celebration, President Boakai and his delegation are currently participating in the high-level meeting on the 30th anniversary of the 4th World Conference on Women. That's the Beijing delegation. The session is focused on progress and challenges in advancing gender equality and women's empowerment over the last 3 decades. A key highlight of the day will be a special reception hosted by United States President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump in honor of attending heads of state at this year's United Nations General Assembly. Additionally, members of the Liberian delegation will attend several key sideline events, including the 7th European Corporate Council on Africa and the Middle East ECAM Council, the One Campaign, and the Africa Center's dialogue on critical minerals, adding value, driving unity, building, and the Sustainable Development Goal Movement 2025. These engagements form part of Liberia's broader efforts to strengthen international partnerships, foster sustainable development, and advocate for Africa's priorities on the global stage. President Boakai emphasized that Liberia remains steadfast in its support of the United Nations and is committed to working with the international community in pursuit of peace, equality, and shared prosperity. So yesterday we also noted that in the sub-region, for an example, the Ghanaian and the Senegalese president went on yesterday to the UN General Assembly. We also noted that the Nigerian president is being represented by his vice president, who also departed Abuja for New York on yesterday, which was Sunday, and they've arrived. The Sierra Leonean president, who had an event to chair, in fact, he had two events to attend on yesterday on Sunday, and he chaired one, left Sierra Leone on Saturday, arrived there. So, our own president, so today is what? Let's see, the date of today is 22nd. So President Boakai left President Boakai left okay. Just hold on the 8th for the UNGA. It was on the 8th, so 9, 10, another 12, 13. So about 12 days before the other colleagues started going, and according to the press release, which occasioned the president's departure, they said he will be participating in breakup thematic and other specialized groups. So the first indication of breakup thematic and other specialized group sessions, it is today that we are seeing a post from the executive mansion about the president's activities at the UNGA today. The president is expected to address the plenary. Of course, all leaders do that. He will hold bilateral meetings with international partners, development. Okay. He will hold bilateral meetings with international partners, development agencies, and business leaders on the margins of the UN General Assembly, focusing on strengthening Liberia's partnerships, investment, and advancing the nation's development agenda. So, in terms of international partnership, development agencies, blah, 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 we've not seen an update to that effect, except one. He left on the 8th, and then on the 9th, there was a release that he met with top LISCA officials in Washington. You know, LISCA, the co-chairs of the Liberian International Ship and Corporate Registry, they do some stuff for maritime, you know, in terms of shipping. Mr. Adam Cohen and Mr. Elan Cohen today held a high-level meeting with the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Julius. The discussion centered on strengthening the partnership between the government of Liberia and LISCA, with emphasis on enhancing Liberia's maritime sector, advancing regulatory frameworks. So that was that on the 9th. And then the only other update we saw was on the 15th, when he met with the family of the late Minister Sylvester Grisby. That was all. So for the nearly 2 weeks, we don't know. So perhaps I don't know. Were there other reasons that were not said for which the president left that time? Because there hasn't been any significant update from the executive mansion as per his activities. And we should know. Oh yeah, we should know. It is our taxpayers' money that presidents travel on. When they go anywhere, we should know what they are doing there. So we should be told. We should be informed. It is not a begging thing to beg anybody. Oh, you know. No, we should know. 2 weeks. 2 releases. 1 meeting with the family, 1 meeting with those people. Finish. People should be transparent with Liberian people on these kinds of matters. Very, very important. Okay. We move on to the next issue. So we also know that a high-level team from the U.S. government Millennium Challenge Corporation will arrive in Liberia on today. I may be speaking with an official of the Ministry of Finance. Once we get word that the people are here, I may speak with him for confirmation to that effect. We also started off by talking about former President George Weah returning to the country today. And of course, we are reading about some tension and all that stuff at the airport between the police and the supporters, the well-wishers that went there. I have seen something written by a very strong supporter of the government. Let me see. Okay. Let me bring that up very quickly. Appertaining this. The guy is called Horace. The person is called Horace R. Cooper. He says, Monday run because the blah 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 of our governments always bite us in the. I don't want to use that kind of words. How do you kill or try to, at least at the airport, the momentum of the arrival of a soccer star, former president? What if you wear big boy pants, mandate the airport team to welcome him via the VIP lounge or whatever they call it, announce it beginning yesterday that no crowds will be allowed at the VIP lounge? The shouting will not be plentiful. The people will understand. Sell it with the maintaining the sanctity of the VIP area line. You look good even with the unannounced intention. The struggling country survives another day without the unnecessary noise. Note that money, the thing Liberia needs a lot, does not like noise. What you don't do is the foolishness we're witnessing. Former President, we will always command the admiration of people around the country. Do we have the means and space to be this noisy every time he shows up? Yes, we all cursed him when he was president for being PC, but he was president, and we have to find a way to live with that. Let's not be a bunch of ignoramus matcatus and add more burden to our small, challenged countrymen. Okay. So I don't know, but there are ways people could handle a whole lot of things. I will not say anything further because the guy has just said it, you know. But anyways, maybe that will be for another day. I have my own things to analyze around the whole going, coming, and all that stuff, and put all those things together. So perhaps it could be for tomorrow. What we want to talk about today has a whole lot of components. So first of all, let's join Franklin Dolokwe. Franklin Dolokwe has some updates on lawmakers who reportedly went to ArcelorMittal's facilities. They said they held a news conference. So we have with us Franklin Dolokwe on the line now. Franklin, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Julius.
Welcome, Franklin, to the OK Conversation. What updates do you have for us about lawmakers who went to your county, Nimba, to assess the facilities of ArcelorMittal?
So there were 6 lawmakers, meaning senators, they have gone to ArcelorMittal operation to visit the area. According to Sir Joseph Mosorelo County Senator, who heard this high power delegation from the Liberia Senate, they said their mission was to to follow what they refer to as fact finding from a statement or a response from Senator Nyan Toyen, who earlier on wrote the Liberia Senate towards Senate ArcelorMittal operation. So the Senate, they are going to DKPA over the weekend to verify those things that were measured in Senator Nyan Toyen fact check or fact finding. So those senators, they are also being accused by Senator Nyan Toyen on ground that they are trying to gain favor from the mining company Aston Metal.
What did the senators say? Didn't you see representatives among them? I thought they said it was a joint legislative committee.
Yes, there was no representative. There were 6 senators. So those 6 senators, they are come according to them. They said they are come for fact finding, or they are come to check the statement or the complaint from Senator Nyatuayen on ground that they were not really satisfied with the company corporation. So they are come. There was a committee set about the Senator Nyatuayen is also raising concern that even though he the one who brought the issue on flow, but he was not the right. The 2 senators from the country, Senator Nyatuayen and Senator Samuel Gomez-Pokale, they were not around, or they did not form part of this delegation. That's an issue. The senator is also raising on Senator Joseph of Mosoro County, and Senator Joseph Jala of Mosoro County, nominee Bakati of nominee
Batekwa.
Bakatia of Grand
Batekwa, that's a crude name. Batekwa.
Yeah, Batekwa of Grand 2. Then Boto Kone of Bapulu, Simon Taylor of Grand Cape County, and Senator Thomas Yaya Nimle of Grand Chide. So there were 6 senators, but this joint legislative committee on MDA compliance visit. According to them, it said there were a lot of issues. Like for example, Aston Metal is seeking an extension, but they told us say most of the things that Senator Nyatuayen mentioned in his complaint, they see most of those things. So they said they're going to report to the Senate, and they said they will come up with a decision. On the other side, Senator Sir Joseph also used the occasion, his visitation in Nima, to visit the most talked about or the late PYJ Polytechnic. This is the area Senate, therefore, the Senator Prince Johnson, the university, the water factory, and water facility are very close to the public. So Senator Sir Joseph gone there where you were able to meet with some staff, including all the student council president. So he committed, or he pledged his commitment that within 4 months time, from now to February, the school will be open to the public. But he said prior to that, he's going to meet with the vice president and the 2 senators, including the Democrats, to have a meeting for this identical school to be reopened to the public. He also visited the Jackson Fiado Hospital in Tapetan, Lower Nema County, where he said within 6 months time, the history or the suffering, the history of the through low poetry and allotment, 900,000 people allotted for the hospital. He said he's going to get a 44-feet continuum, 40-foot continuum with medical supply and order for this hospital. So he said within 6 months time, the history about the hospital going to change.
Okay. Because of time, Franklin, we just hold it up. But thanks so kindly for filling us in. Tomorrow we'll have more time for that.
Okay, Julius, thank you very much.
Okay, that's Franklin Dolokui there. So they went there and he has elicited a whole lot of issues. Senator Twine fired back that they were not aware, they were not informed that these senators were going there. Earlier, it was stated joint legislative committee, but then reports started coming, as confirmed now by our reporter, that they were senators. So if it is just senators, how did they reach joint legislative committee? Yeah. Then they issued a release, an elaborate, long, winding, repetitive release to explain exactly what they went for. I saw a post by Senator Dillon. He was not aware of them going there. A whole lot of senators say they were not aware of their colleagues. You know, they are on break of their colleagues going there. So how did these colleagues just go there? You know, I'm driving you somewhere. So Attorney Clark Edward Toomey wrote this piece on the whole ArcelorMittal thing. I want to read that. He said, Lamco yesterday, AML today, a defining test for Liberia's concession policy. In 1960, Liberia signed the Lamco concession agreement, arguably the most successful in our history. Lamco was more than an economic venture. It was a social model. Yekepa boasted of modern schools, a state-of-the-art hospital, reliable housing, recreational facilities, and better wages. Salaries were paid twice monthly, and patients came from across borders for medical care. Lamco proved that concession agreements could benefit both investors and their host countries. Fast forward to 2006, a new deal was signed for the same region, this time in an era of global best practices in mining governance, corporate responsibility, and environmental standards. One would expect a stronger outcome. Instead, corruption marred the process. Nearly 20 years down the road, workers still live in shipping containers. 3/4 of former houses lie in ruins. Yekepa is overrun by bushes. The once famous hospital is a shell, and the community is in ruins. Again, that's about 20 years later. The contrast with Lamco is striking. This failure is not the investors, corporations seek profit. The failure is Liberia's. In 1960, leaders secured a deal that left a legacy. In 2006, with far more knowledge and leverage, we accepted one that left little but all extraction. Now, with the ArcelorMittal concession up for review, Liberia faces a defining test. Will we learn from history or repeat it? I believe a credible review must, one, learn comparatively, study countries like Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa, where policy ties investor profit to national development. Rather than go into the facilities of AML to see what they already know, this should be the focus of our lawmakers. Two, be transparent. Open the process to civil society, local communities, and independent experts, both local and international. Be expert-driven. Lawmakers must rely on seasoned specialists in mining law, economics, and environmental governance. This time, there can be no excuses. If we fail, we will be guilty before posterity. I'm taking you somewhere. Let's move. Let's go to the executive mansion. I want to show you something there. So earlier today, the executive mansion wrote this. President Boakai welcomes new petroleum agreement with Oranto, pledges responsible development of Liberia's resources. President Joseph Boakai Sr. has welcomed the signing of 4 production sharing contracts between the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority and Atlas Oranto Petroleum, granting exploratory rights over offshore blocks LB15, LB16, LB22, and LB24. The signing ceremony took place in Paris, France. The contracts, which include a signature bonus of $12 million and an estimated investment value of $200 million per block, represent an important step in reviving Liberia's oil and gas sector after more than a decade of limited activity. They follow a recent agreement with Total Energies and further demonstrate Liberia's readiness to responsibly engage credible investors. Credible investors. Credible investors. Mark that. Our goal is to ensure that Liberia's resources are managed with transparency and responsibility. These contracts will be implemented with strict standards of environmental protection, strong local participation, and clear accountability so that Liberians benefit directly from the opportunities created, the president said. Atlas Oranto is a privately held African oil group founded in 1991, operates in several African countries. In Liberia, the company's activities will be guarded strictly by national laws and oversight to guarantee responsible exploration. The government of Liberia, through the National Oil Company of Liberia, can express appreciation to TGS, its long-standing geophysical and geological partner for nearly 25 years of support in promoting Liberia's offshore potential. President Boakai also commended the efforts of the Liberian negotiating team led by the LPRA and with the participation of Fabian Michael Lai, President and CEO of NOCAL, Augustine Payegafua, Minister of Finance and Development Planning, and Oswald Toy, Minister of Justice. As required by law, the 4 PSCs, that's production sharing contracts, will now be forwarded to the National Legislature for ratification. Once approved and signed by the President, they are expected to boost investment in Liberia's energy sector, create jobs, and contribute to the long-term goals of President Bouaga's arrest agenda for national growth and development. I was smiling. And then I remember Oranto. I said, Oranto, I remember we were small boys around here listening to radio. Aliens first, and we used to hear about Oranto. So let me do some research. So let me do some research. So we were, and what I found out sickened me. I'm like, who has bewitched our country? You know the meaning of bewitched? Who has cast spell? Who has placed some witchcraft? What have we done to deserve the things that we do as a country? Who has clouded our minds? Who has jinxed us? Let me show you just a small gist, as our guests will soon be coming in, so we'll take some of your calls. We'll expand on this. And I see people were surprised that B Mountain has an airstrip. I'm like, well, these are things that we've talked about. People are surprised about the deep pit mining happening in Grand Cape Mount County, the undermining of the towns, the poor nature of those living in the concession area, how the company has been doing absolutely nothing seriously for the communities. People are surprised. These are things we've talked about, and people are raising on social media. People are surprised. Seriously? Let me tell you, in this day and age where we have all the resources available to us, just a cursory search will tell you that Oranto Petroleum's operation in Liberia centered on securing and then selling exploration rights for offshore oil blocks before, 11, 12, and 14, which were initially granted to the company around 2007 to 2009, but were later ratified for sale to Chevron in 2010. The company's presence in Liberia was marked by its legacy of acquiring exploration rights with the intent to flip them or sell them to larger companies rather than conducting significant exploration itself. You listen to this Oranto that they praise him as credible investor. Let me go in for and tell you what they did to this country. The firm's activities were intertwined with allegations of bribery to secure legislative approval for these blocks and faced criticism for lacking the resources to undertake exploration work, eventually contributing to the collapse of the National Oil Company of Liberia and leaving Liberia with a reputation for enabling such arrangements. Awarding of contracts. Oranto Petroleum was granted the exploration rights for offshore blah 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 by the National Oil Company of Liberia in the late 2000s, with the intent to conduct seismic surveys and geo-exploration wells. Chevron committed to a 3-year exploration program holding a 70% interest in the blocks, while Oranto retained a 20% stake. Aftermath and impact controversy. The sale of blocks, particularly under the circumstances surrounding the legislative approval, fueled controversy and highlighted governance issues within Liberia's oil sector. In response to these developments, then President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf issued a verbal mandate for NOCA to develop a comprehensive local content policy. Oranto's involvement in the Liberian oil sector, coupled with broader issues, preceded the eventual collapse of NOCA, leaving the country's oil basin quiet. So, development of and job creation claims. The company's management indicated plans to invest significantly in oil exploration and promote local development and job creation. That's what they said that time of 2007, 8, 9, 10, around there. These are the promises that this company made. A series of addenda to Oranto's contracts were ratified by the Liberian legislature in 2010, a move reportedly accompanied by a series of small bribes according to a 2012 ProPublica report. We'll go to all of those things on tomorrow. So Oranto King pays more money, according to Front Page Africa, around 200,000. Got our oil blocks, flipped them. Didn't do anything. They didn't put any shovel in the ground. They didn't do anything with anybody. Flipped them to another bigger company. After is a Nigerian for $150 million. Yeah? Getting oil block for small money, right in our faces, flip it for $150 million. This was the Unity Party's first term under then President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. They flip it. The man walked away with $150 million for our resources. We gave it to him to do exploration. He put one shovel in the ground. He flipped it because we were senseless. One man walked away with $150 million, flip it to Chevron. 15 years later, we bring him back, the very same United Party in power, and he gave out 12 million. They say 12 million for signing bonus, and we had to bring him back again. Who has bewitched us? Put your party business aside or whatsoever. What is this? What is it? Someone came to your country. Did not even help you. They said, I'm not able to do it. So let me help in the process to get a bigger company to do whatsoever. No. He gave you small money and he flipped it right in your very faces. He walked away with $150 million. Goes and reinvests it and come out with 12 to give you for another oil blocks, and you accept him with open arms for whatever reasons you have. And we're supposed to be dancing. Who are we? We're talking about ArcelorMittal. We're talking about B Mountain. We're coming to add this other. I will see what the lawmakers of Capital Hill will do about these production sharing contracts. I really want to see. But tomorrow I'll open up more deeply in the ProPublica report, in the ERTR reports, the different reports about this whole deal before. Someone could not have done you dirty like that. And you bring them back as if nothing happened. Executive management refers to them as credible investors. Credible where? Let's take some of the calls. 777-700. 995. We will enter inside. And I'm disappointed because a whole lot of the people here know about these things. These people helped us during George Weah to resist a whole lot. You know why? Well, half of we are government to get any investment, the kind of scrutiny. Baka Jaliba is a no-cow. But then he was part of CPA. They helped us. They gave us information. They came on shows to resist deals like Eaton and Iboma. The Port West Minister, Giddens, former NIC man, George Wisner. They were all very hard on these kinds of things. You're at no count today. Somebody who did an entire country dirty and walked away with $150 million. Boom, you go back to the same person. To do what? So we really don't love ourselves. Are we? We are really like that? I know the guy is just smiling wherever he is. That these people don't have senses. What is this? Look, I read the thing. I was just, I felt bad. I'm like, but what are we talking for now? What are we really talking for? Sometimes I just want to sit down and yell the whole thing because it doesn't make sense. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. We can be putting ourselves on the line and be doing all of these things. George, we are tanking. You go in opposition. You help us. You to resist a whole lot of things. We're always on the radio with us critiquing all of the bad things, and then you come to power again. The very significant things that a country should stand up for, we just cannot. Our eyes wide open. It's not even long ago. As soon as I say Oranto, I remember that there was something I had to go do search, and everything is readily available. Everything readily available to be seen. And you embrace the same person for what reason? For what? You may walk away with 150 million in your country. Your oil bloods, he flipped. He come in by and give you 12. You had. You call incredible investor for 12 million business. I don't know. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. The numbers to come. But we will try. We must have the courage to always play our part. We can always inform you. It is up to you. If this is why you say, "Oh, Julius against the government," then you against yourself, as a Liberian. Then I said that your resources doing general. Someone came before, get small thing, they gain up, he flip it. He made plenty of money. And I'm not supposed to open your eye that if that man could come and just fool us and use us and get 150 million out of our country, just walk away, our country say can do better. Why you still want to do business with that kind of person? How you want to do business with crook? That means that you crooked. Because you know the man's a known crook. Huh? The man promised that they will do that 1 year, they will do that, they will build job, they will do that, they will do exploration. They didn't do one jing thing. He walked away with 150 million. And you come back, you do right thing to us. I said we don't have heads. Okay, our guest is here. He will come in. Let me take a few calls. We'll come back to it tomorrow. You all know me already. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. The numbers to call. Welcome.
Thank you, Julius. My name is Mame Sikaran. I call to condemn the undemocratic action by the government towards our partisans at the airport. The action exhibited by the police today is not only unnecessarily draconian, but it is very shameful. It is not all of the time that President Weah will come and senior government officials will try to put strategy in place to disrespect him. President Weah, as a statement, deserves every form of deference. And it is becoming so embarrassing for this government to always humiliate and attack our partisans.
What did they do?
This is not the first time for people to assemble at the
What
airport.
did they do today?
They tear gas our partisans, brutalized some of them, and intimidated them, which is unacceptable. This is not the first time that people have assembled at the airport. Even Mr. Boaka, while in opposition, during the campaign time when he came, his partisans went there, they assembled at the airport. Nobody tortured them, no one instilled fear in them, no one intimidated them. They were given their right to assemble, and they assembled, they welcomed their political leader, and they left the airport. Recently, when other people came to the airport, there were people dancing. Even President Boaka, when he went there, Judy, Andy, and her team, they went there, they celebrated, they welcomed him. What they say that every time President Weah is coming, Kwagwe Komo and his police will obviously go there, intimidate our people, disrespect President Weah. This is unacceptable, and people need to talk about it. It needs to stop. Liberia should be a democratic country where different political views and practices must be accepted, must be allowed.
Okay.
You cannot continue to do this against a statement. A man who has served as an ambassador, a symbol of peace and democracy, and all of the time you find pleasure in disrespecting in such a manner. This is unacceptable, and we all must condemn it.
Thanks so kindly for your call. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Julius, how you doing?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
TRFI here. First, let me speak to the police involvement at the airport. Julius, this country belongs to everyone. And our police commandos, everybody at the helm of security should understand that government is like a jacket. When you remove it today, the next person will wear it. So the way you treat people, tomorrow, you expect them to treat you with the same way or with respect. We saw chicken scan and the rest of the other people around here. These people, many other people you tear gas, they were just dancing, celebrating. There is absolutely no reason for you to tear gas them. Why even carry you to the airport? You just provide safeguard for the people. On the issue of Toronto, Julius, I think we are cursed. I so believe we are cursed. How is it possible that the very individual who gave us 200,000 and he was to meet a certain obligation, he didn't meet those obligations, he walked away with 150 million. Today you are giving him 12 million deal. You don't think you're going to walk away with billions? So you to just see that man in a far distance and say, hey, you just stop right there. You sold this company, you sold the company to Chevron yesterday. And why we can't go after Chevron? Because the man will definitely sell those blocks to another company. We should wake up. I think it's a bad deal. Our president still has the opportunity to look at these things. And unfortunately, the very individual that sat around the president today were the very individual who castigated other people yesterday. Today, the time has come. What Jaliba is right at Nukago water. He knows the story about Toronto. Today, he's silent. Okay. Is it because of what? Is it kickback? What's happening?
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. Does not say he read a release from Togo, release of his colleagues. Welcome. Let's hear you. International. It's our guest. Our guest is a lane coming. Welcome. Let's hear you. Well, the local calls are knocking you off. It's because of the United Party's interest, Julius. It is not a bewitchment. Okay, that's what that messenger says. Let's take calls here. Welcome, let's hear you.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Costas, and I call you from Brazil. You don't know? So that every day we'll be talking about CDC going to welcome president. We are airport, that's going to happen to them.
Is it not their right to go there?
Because when you go somewhere, not said that what can happen. If you go somewhere with a peaceful man, we're not even going to stay, nothing will happen to you. The one with a different mindset is the one that created that problem.
The
police not just don't get tear gas people, you know. The police they're not immune with that.
So what did they do that warranted that?
Out of the way.
No, I want you to tell us what wrong did they do, because it seems you have some information about the wrong that they did. So
the first thing the announcement made, they were all on the platform making some statement that we heard. Oh yeah, that airport, that's for everybody.
Yeah, we heard all that one. People can talk.
Yeah,
asking today what
when they went there now, they started to create unnecessary station there, start to so gas, and people try to block roads and put it out the red of
Did they block roads? You saw them blocking roads?
Oh yeah, they did. But let's go down on the issue of a Chevron, man. The citizen didn't win
but that you call and you started talking about you.
Yeah, let's go to the Chevron.
So because you don't get evidence now, so let's move on to the.
No, I get evidence.
No, but the thing you're talking, you say maybe they went and they did and blah blah blah. So move on to the next thing, Chief. Move on to the next thing.
That reason, people say anything because we're coming down. They will always create. I say, that prevent person coming.
So move on to the next
issue. Because the state of our country is our law lawmaker.
No. They want to reach to lawmaker here on the.
To reach it.
No, but so the people that sign the agreement, you don't get anything to talk to them.
So I will say this. So if the people who started and made mistake, who's going to correct them? And who's going to checkmate them? We have a lawmaker that's going to
So you don't have issues with them making
that
glaring mistake. Well, but why you won't put it on lawmakers here when it hasn't reached there yet?
Yeah, because the mistake has been made, and then it's going to the lawmaker that represents us directly. So we are telling them whatever error that have been made or that was made, let them see it and correct it.
Okay.
If it is a bad deal, it should not pass. That's my point I'm making to you.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's take other people. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius, this is broadcasting from Monrovia.
Go ahead.
And let me tell you so much. You know, the same thing you are talking about. The people who sign, before you come to the legislature, you're not angry with them. Then you say that the legislature have problems. So you see, these are some of the things. Maybe the place you stone your toe, you don't vex. But the place you lay down air, that place you vex. You know that Toronto tea, who that you went to it. That time the late Watterson that were there. In fact, he was chairing that committee.
Mm-hmm.
When I deal with pass, all of them were happy. I mean, that some of us were not very checking and all those kind of things. So that we had 200,000 this year that time, and somebody got to go on stock market and pay 150 million. The same project came back. So when they say Vice President was sitting there when over 68 book of agreement was signed, then sometimes you may reflect on it. Not that people want to denigrate people, but when those things continue to repeat itself on vision cycle basis, then you got to question some people's credibility. I have no education. Why wrong with it so much? And most of these guys, when they come, they bring down their lobbying group, and you know, put it aside, and for them, when they discuss it, they wouldn't discuss what they can get. When I put the corporate get something, when I get something, they'll say, I will say that these are the man people go with. Thank you, but we're looking at the legislature.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. I'm not seeing our guest around. He's usually here way ahead of time. We find out from him where he is. We'll continue taking your calls. I hope he's not messing up. Okay. This is the OK conversation. Okay, let's take international call now. This one is coming in. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius. Frank Gibbs in a call from Paris.
Go ahead, Frank.
Julius, if it is true that the police brutalized the citizens who were at the airport, I condemn it in the strongest possible terms as irresponsible of Gregory Coleman, Joseph Barker, and the entire government of the Republic of Liberia. That's very irresponsible.
But which one bringing Joseph Barker inside now?
He's the president of the Republic of Liberia, and he ordered Gregory Coleman to do the nonsense that he carried on.
Okay.
Now, the issue of the book of these that you're talking about, you know, the other day I listened to Senator Waterspoon. He said he would encourage President Barker to sign any agreement, even if that the that anybody wants to buy from Liberia, he should sell it to develop the country, no matter how the deal looks like. You know the history of Senator Waterspoon. Now he said he will encourage Joseph Barker to sign any deal, no matter how the deal looks like. Now, I'm very little bit disappointed. You know, I respect Sir Joseph very much, you know. I always consider Sir Joseph to be a truthful human being. But if the two senators of Nima County, now senators, they don't say they don't know about the committee Sir Joseph headed to visit Asalomita, and he, Sir Joseph, openly said that the Senate set that committee there is concerning, Julius.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Joseph needs to be honest and sincere. Because he said it, that the Senate sent them there. And there are 3 senators now from the Senate say they don't know anything about that. So I think he needs to actually come back and clarify certain things. It's very important. Again, I condemn Joseph Barker and his government for brutalizing the sedition. I welcome President Weah back to Liberia. Thank you, Julius.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. This person says, thank you so much for the revelation reminder about that company. Julius, I strongly believe that the president doesn't have the information that you're providing. I believe that there are some greedy officials around the presidency who failed to inform the presidency again. Thank God for those of you that still have hope that Liberia will get better. Augustine Vasco Tamba sends in that one. Okay. I thought my guest was here. He has gone back. Okay, so we're taking. Okay. Okay, my producer will generate a link, and shortly we will join him. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Julius, and good morning to Liberian people.
Mhm.
My name is Jacob Cousin. I call from North Dakota, USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday it was bad. Today it is bad, and will continue to be bad. And it's about time people like you, all of us, join our voices to condemn some of those bad bogus concessions that has been signed in the past and that continue to come before our people. We agree we want development in Liberia, but you cannot go to a concession area where people money millions and billions of dollars, resources from all our country. The people that stay, they don't even get safe drinking water. For instance, the Beer Mountain. I supported President Bwaka. I am believing President Bwaka. I will say anywhere, at any time. But I do not support bad governance. So I condemn the executive for allowing a man who came and just take a contract in your presence and just swap it in your face and stole from us more than 50 million. You bring him back. I condemn it. And this now about me being a party person. I'm not for any political party, but I support him because I supported Julius before. I got my right to support anybody. But I feel it's wrong. And with the damage already being made, I think it's about time we put more pressure on the legislature, our people who directly represent us, to be able to look at that deal and trash that particular Toronto deal, because it's not a good deal for the Liberian people. And one thing again I must say to my brothers and stuff on the CDC, it is your right to assemble at the airport. I've been seeing a lot of videos and different videos. I'm not saying that not people right, but equally so, Julius, let's learn to protect what we have. We are the same people that can be running around Facebook posting only negative thing about Liberia. And the negative effect are affecting our country to the extent that Julius. Some of us know people in the country that got money, Liberians, that really got good money. But some of the things they can tell you, it's just when they see social media. Some of them not even go there yet. That just want to see what they saw from social media. Okay, you got American people coming in today, they are not better than our Liberians, brother. But if we're somewhere in a better way, not pulling your crowd to the main entrances and blocking other people from movement. Let me remember that President Weah is a statement, but he's not the only Liberian. He's not the only person. If you watch your videos, you see the way some of our brothers are training. I'm watching the video from here, from in social media local. It's not right. That they are right to go there and assemble to receive their leader. It is their right. But at least do it in a way that you respect other people who driving, other people who coming in. You cannot do something that is safe here in other people. Do we know how many flights came to the airport in morning? We don't know who are on this flight. We have to be careful.
Okay.
I want the police to try to be a bit careful how they handle the citizen. They are our citizen. Even if they do us wrong, let them handle them with care. But they themselves need to know to that Liberia for all of us.
Sure.
We are begging them.
Thanks so kindly for your call. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yes, Julius, good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Ishaka Sharif, and I call you for the first time in my capacity as acting policy response chairman of the CDC.
Mm-hmm.
Julius, the police.
Where are you now?
I am around the Boys Town area.
Are you going to the airport?
I went to the airport, but I was not given access, and I was first time to this area after leaving the airport. When the police were firing tear gas for the partisans, and as a matter of fact, the heavy-handedness of the police, I think every Liberian should condemn it. We seditious ourselves. We are Liberians. We are human beings. And I don't think there is any justifiable reasons for the police to carry on such a heavy deployment of their forces this morning as though they were going to war. It has always happened, right? I think this is the third time happening whenever former President Weah is coming to the country, the police will do this kind of heavy deployment as those seditions are not human beings or they are on different planets. I think this will need to stop, Julius. We are law-abiding people. We went to the airport, go and receive the former president of this country, Julius. The police is not an enemy. But when you hear the police speak, when you hear the police who have riot gear speak about seditions, when you hear them discussing nullification of seditions on their list, it makes you scared as though they were trained purposely to target seditions wherever they find them. And I think this is wrong. Nothing lasts forever. We are in Liberia, all of us, this country is for us, and we should do everything to protect, the government should protect the peace, and we seditions and our opposition too should protect this peace. But when you provoke a situation as law enforcement officers who should be protecting lives and property, I think when you go overboard, it becomes a problem. And I think that is this is exactly what the police are doing.
Okay.
It is wrong today, it will be wrong tomorrow.
Thanks so kindly, Ishaka Sharif. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. I think I'll just call, I don't know who this person is, but let's see. Welcome, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Sounds like Jonathan Pelele.
Yes, Jonathan here.
But you changed numbers. But let's hear you.
Well, that's the same number. Okay, just quickly to the two issues. I think the authority of NOCA and people who went for this negotiation, even ahead of ratification, should be made to explain to people what has changed about Oronto. Because I know for sure when this whole turn over to Chevron came about, we reported that. So without drawing conclusion, I think they should be given an opportunity to explain what is new about this company, what is there that we don't know for the benefit of the public, so that we don't continue to speculate. But it's very important for the explanation to come through, because Rancho was kind of controversial when they dealt with it, I think people years back.
Back to the Oronto, because you were very much around and involved in all of the different things. Did you see them then as a good company, giving all that you knew then?
Well, what I know is that they signed for some blocks, but they didn't really go into operation. And then Chevron, I think, bought whatever blocks that they had bought from Liberia. The deal was not really explained. I think the legislature played some politics with that at the time. But what I know is that some oil blocks were sold to them. They didn't really go into any serious operation here when they sold their blocks to Chevron. And we asked questions, they said under the arrangement at the time, they had the right to do whatever they wanted to do with the blocks. That's what I know much about that. But if there is something new, because we are talking about more than 10 years or so ago, if there is, because anybody, a saw can be a paw, right? If something has changed about let us ask, maybe there's something that we don't know. And I know Joseph Walker, if he gives his endorsement for something, there might have been some real background check done, because he's not one of the history persons here to just run to sign deals. So, and coming to the CDC gathering, I think like the other quarter, the last quarter said, we all are on application to keep the peace. And Mr. Weah is former president. Listen to our daughter, Mama C, trying to equate the coming of Joseph Boakai to George Weah. George Weah, with all due respect, a former presidency should be respected. But people who should turn out to receive the president, the number of people should not be compared to the number of presidents getting out to receive a former president. So if Mr. Weah is coming to address later his supporters at maybe a party headquarters or somewhere, necessarily they don't have to carry thousands of people to the port. Our airport is not as big as other airports around here. We have to know that. So people in CDC should exercise maturity
and know that the more we have, a lot of the people going to that place, there will obviously be some confrontation between the security forces. And then she advised, if what I saw today is actually something that George Weah himself put out, he was asking for every measure that should ensure that there should not be any confrontation between his people and security people. So those who are running CDC on the ground should be mature enough to say all of us don't have to go there. After all, Mr. Weah is not going to pass or go to Sierra Leone, he's coming here. They can assemble somewhere where he will go later to talk to them, but the group that I saw today, they were actually going there like they were expecting some confrontation. And whenever you build up that way, obviously things can go out of control. So,
okay.
We all have to just be careful how to keep the peace. Maturity is needed from both sides. And a former government also is on our obligation to make sure that we keep the peace.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, sir, for your call. That's it. The OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. It means it is possible that the company could have been a soy has now changed to a paw. Okay. But tomorrow we'll bring you more. We want to take our guest now. It's another important matter. I want to call him directly. Sorry, folks, we cannot continue taking calls. Tomorrow we'll continue with these things. Let's take him. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We will continue to play our part. Okay, we have with us Alfred Johnson. Alfred, welcome.
Thank you, Julius. How are you?
Yeah, I actually thought you were still on ground, not knowing that you that you had left.
It's okay, but man, I left for close to 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Okay, so
anyway,
let me hold you on the line and put our judicial bureau chief on. Massa, I want Massa to give us so far where this case is. Then when we have those details, I can also get you on. Let's see if we can get Massa, so both of you are on this call with me. I'm sure Massa isn't in the building, so we're trying to get her. We're trying to get Massa. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Massa, if you're around, you can come in. If you are in, if you're not, then please answer. Okay, we have Massa with us now. Massa, welcome.
Thank you, Julius, but I'm in a very noisy area right now.
Yeah, let's just manage to squeeze a few things out of you. This alleged rape case. Where is it now? What is the latest? What do we know?
Well, what I can say right now, I've got incredible information because the National Commission on Human Rights has gotten involved with this issue, and as I learned that there will be a rape issue for the accused or the alleged rapist. Got that information today from a credible source. Well, the last time the police had a press conference, they said they were gathering information, they were doing some investigation, they even needed the U.S. Embassy intervention with the forensic DNA sample, examination, all of that. And so that they had the accused or the suspect in their custody, but not in custody per se, but they were interrogating. He was coming back. I asked that he was in the building. As I said, I'm in a noisy place, so let me find another suitable place.
Mm-hmm.
So, since the press conference that day, the Human Rights Commission is also, Independent Human Rights Commission is also involved with it. So we actually waiting. There have been no arrests yet.
Oh, wow.
So as I learned, yes, there have been no arrests yet. The police haven't said anything on arrest since they had a press conference about the man, Mr. Ryan McGill. We have not had any further conference updating the public or information that he has been arrested. Probably they take everyone their investigation.
So, in terms of his being in the country, do we know if he's here? There have been different speculations on social media about his whereabouts. Is he here?
I also heard that rumor that he flee the country. But as I told you earlier, the Commission on Human Rights getting involved. I learned from a credible source that will be an arrest, a writ of arrest issue, that he's here. That's why I have learned. But the police, I've not verified that with the police yet to know if it is true that he's here or he has escaped the country or he has gone out of the country. But as I learned from the commission, that he's here, and probably by tomorrow, perhaps, as I was told, there could be a writ of arrest issue on him. I don't know how possible would that be, because this is a criminal offense or allegation which has to do with rape. The police needs to get all this evidence, witnesses before forwarding the individual to court. So when the independent commission says there will be writ of arrest, well, we have to see how that goes.
Okay. Massa, thanks so kindly. What about this other story? It says sentencing of the gentleman who killed the lady somewhere in the Duporo area. I think it was last year also.
Yeah, it was December 2024. Yes, he has been sentenced. When the case was called for trial, this individual, Bill Jala, he requested, or his lawyer requested for pre-bargaining agreement, and that defendant usually sometimes they do that. Sometimes they do that because they want a lesser sentence. They admit or confess to the crime, and then they ask for mercy or beg for mercy with the court. But in this case, the judge is saying that, okay, not every cases or not every crime that you ask for pre-bargaining, it is granted and your sentence is reduced. Well, this is a first degree felony, and that is the punishment that comes along is either, life imprisonment. We don't have the death sentence. That was there, but only the life sentence, the deal with. So we were sentenced to life imprisonment today, as far the record. And then there's a case that you remember the accident with the UP partisans that was celebrating the pre-victory celebration up Broad Street as well. That has to do with Lawrence Williams. He appeared in court a few days ago, and he asked that his case be transferred. And the judge granted that as well. He said the public sentiment with his case, media publications, so he don't see secure. He was speaking to his lawyer, he don't see secure here, so they transfer his case, and that the case has been transferred to the 11th Judicial Circuit in Bomi County.
Okay. Massa, thanks so kindly for those details.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, that's Massa Kanetele, our Judicial Bureau Chief there. So with that understanding, we go to Alfred Johnson. Alfred, you've listened to Massa, and you were here, you've been following the case. From a law enforcement standpoint, what are you seeing?
Well, generally speaking, it's not. Let's establish that LMP's approach towards the situation, as far as the investigation is concerned, it's not unusual. It's not out of the norm. Because of the seriousness of rape, when the allegations of rape comes up, people take the investigation, but you have to be very careful how you go about the investigation, because there are two kinds of suspects, generally speaking. The first one is the suspect we don't know, somebody walking down the street. First of all, let me say, Master, thanks for that incredible reporting. That was very detailed, giving a different perspective on the case. So, there are two kinds of suspects, generally speaking. The one you don't know, maybe a serial rapist who just grabs strangers, assaults them, rapes them, and things like that. That level, that investigation is some level of speed is attached to that investigation, because the thing is, this suspect is unknown, and he's going about doing all these things, so we want to get him right away so that he can avoid him victimizing other people. Then the second kind of victim, which is where this category, the second kind of suspect, which is the category in which this accuser falls in, is the unknown suspect. A friend, a family member, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, a partner, a person that is already known but has been accused of rape. So that investigation is a bit slower compared to the one with unknown suspect. The one with the known suspect is a bit slower because first of all, they know the suspect, they have the ability to restrict the suspect movement, and in the case, generally speaking, in a case, this situation that involve physical assault and things like that, it's just something, I couldn't say just, but it's still rape as opposed to obvious
something that is obvious, like where the person was beaten, the person was assaulted in the process of being raped, that's different. But in this case, where it is almost like, oh, the sexually assaulted me, the raping, and the suspect is moved, the process takes a bit longer. And that's what LMP is doing. LMP is taking step by step.
We've not heard about any exit Republican on him though.
You said what? We have not heard about what?
A knee exit Republican. That writ of that writ that can ban the person from leaving the country.
Yeah. So what like to restrict the person's movement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, LMP. So what happens is if the investigation feels like this guy is a flat rate, then they can go to the court to seize his passport for the court to allow them to seize his passport and restrict his movement until the investigation is finished. I don't think that has been done, and this is part of the public outcry. But their approach is not unusual. The problem is, like I said, the problem is, say for example, when I was an investigator, one thing I learned is every case you have to investigate every case with detail. Your notes have to be detailed. So say for example, I'm investigating all these cases, I don't do detailed notes. Suddenly I'm investigating Julius J. I decide to do a detailed note on Julius J. every action. So when that case goes to court, my Julius J. lawyer can argue that I targeted Julius J. because all my other cases, my notes have not been this detailed. But when it comes to Julius J.'s case, my notes have been detailed. Why am I saying this? LMP is going about this investigation the right way. Rape investigation, normally this is what you do. You collect cell phones, sexual examination is done. You get statement from the nurse who examined the witness, the victim. You also interview the victim if the suspect is known now. You know, you take the suspect's cell phone. If there's a communication thing, you take the suspect's cell phone, you do a search warrant on it. You take the victim phone for the victim to corroborate something. You know, you do a phone download, you know, and things like that. Then you can take the case to the in this case, the Monterey County Attorney's Office, where they have enough to not get charged, but to get a conviction. So that's the right process. The problem people have is, in other instances, people who have been accused of rape have not been treated like this. You know what I'm saying? They have not benefited for this process. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're saying. But why is he being treated like this? Make no mistake, LP is doing the right thing, except for the DNA part. When they ask for DNA to happen, that means to say there is a possibility they don't believe it and they want to whether the DNA is dead. So they're doing the right thing. But the issue is, in past, they have not done this. This process has not been applied. Or as far as we know, it has not been applied. It has not been applied in other instances. So why not this? So that's why the public has an issue with it. That's the first concern. The second issue is when I listen to the. I'm sorry, you say something?
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So when I listened to Chief Comer, he said indeed there is indication that the victim was tampered with. So let's understand few things. He said there's indication that the victim was tampered with. So the victim is, from what I gather, is 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So she's underage. She does not. The age of consent in Liberia is 18. The victim was tampered with, and she's alleging that this individual tampered with her. So in that case, in the state there, that is enough to get charges for. Like in Liberia, that should be enough. That satisfies a lot of elements for the crime of corruption of minor. Because corruption of minor is a male who has sexual intercourse with a female, not his wife, or any person who engages even sexual intercourse with anybody and has committed an offense if the other person is under 16 years and his actor is at least 5 years older than the other person. So that corruption of the minor charge can go. So one way or other, this guy has to be charged. But the problem, what I understand about Liberia, and the lawyers can correct me here, what I understand is they say when you charge, for example, you're charging somebody with murder, you cannot then charge them with manslaughter. Now in the state there in Tucson County, Maryland, if you charge somebody, if the commissioner is giving you charges for first degree murder, then it will give you charges for second degree murder, and first degree assault, handgun possession, and all the different things. Because if you can satisfy the elements of first degree murder, then every crime before first degree murder, you have satisfied the elements. So in essence, they throw the book at you. But what I gather in Liberia, they don't throw the book at you. So if they charge you with first degree murder, that's what they charge you with. They cannot charge you with assault or with a deadly weapon and all these different things that carry along extra penalties. They can't do that. But this case of this guy and corruption of the minor are two different things. These are two different things. Rape and corruption of manner are two different things, so I don't think it applies here. So I think they can charge you with corruption of manner while the state try to investigate the rape situation.
So, in this case, with the public sentiments having run high, people have protested up to present. He hasn't been arrested. Massa is telling us that could happen. A writ of arrest could be issued based on sourced information. The issues of his whereabouts are still not very clear. What could you advise the authorities?
So what the authority needs to do is they need to first, again, given the sensitive nature of the thing, given the man's flatweight, because he has resources. He's a flatweight. He's not a Yana boy. He's not a Zogo. Even if Zogo can run away to Terry, so they have the ability to fly out. So what the first authority needs to do is take his movement. Go to the court, let the court grant him whatever rate you talk about for another to decide put until the investigation is concluded. Let him put him on a horse arrest or restrict his movement. Notify authority whenever he's trying to leave and go somewhere. Your movement has to be authorized. Any long distance travel outside of Monrovia, maybe going to the county, that long distance travel has to be authorized. These are things you can say to why you may not have enough yet. Now you may think you don't have enough. These are things you can say to restrict his movement until the investigation is concluded. But I don't think it should take this long to conclude this investigation, because the only thing that can take long, that should take long in this investigation is DNA, because I don't think that Labrador has a DNA lab. So that's the only thing that should take long. Labrador doesn't have a DNA lab. So you take a DNA outside. But the problem with that is, if every other thing is satisfied, the DNA does not need to be available in order for you to charge him. Now, understand that things is not going anywhere. If they can restrict his movement,
But there are hospitals in the country that can conduct DNA tests.
Oh, okay, so that's fine. That's fine. If there are facilities in Liberia that can do DNA testing, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. That even makes it even more concerning why it's taking longer like this. Because if there are facilities in Liberia that can do the DNA testing, then there should be no reason why it's going like this. Is the second week now, second or third week. There should be no reason why it's going into this long. This situation, the person that was accused. Because everything is, the victim is cooperating, the suspect is known. You can ask the court, you can either ask for his consent to collect his DNA sample, or you have the court give you search warrant to search and collect his DNA sample. Those are things you can do. Those things can be done real quick. So I don't understand why it's taking long now. At this point, if there are DNA facilities that can do DNA testing, then it shouldn't take long. So if you're waiting for the DNA sample to come and say, okay, we have a solid case, that's fine. But in order to do that, to satisfy, to show some level of seriousness and consistency, you have to at least put the court to give you access to this guy's passport and to restrict this guy's movement so as to conduct the investigation as you wait for these results. It is not unusual. The steps elements taken, the steps are not unusual. The problem is these steps are not taken in other instances. Probably you need to do it when the people say, but why you think this case differently than other cases you treat it in terms of rape cases?
Now, it is possible, it is a 50-50 chance that, yeah, it could be true he did it, yeah, it could not be true. So both ways, why is it important to have a speedy investigation and trial in this kind of case that put us on a 50-50 chance?
To have one of the reasons why it's important to have a speedy investigation in this kind of cases because of the level of public interest this case has generated. This is not a regular case of a community case being accused. This is a government official with influence, with power. The first thing is by not attaching seriousness to this case. Like, take for example, I've always said this, right? In our county, make no mistake, we investigate every murder, every serious assault, and we investigate everything. But in the case where gangs are shooting, and in the process of 3 or 4 year old get caught in a crossfire and gets killed, that investigation, the level of seriousness investigation the lab that investigation would take, it will be different from what we do on other investigation. What am I saying is that because that investigation, because the child is a child, if we as investigators cannot do right by that child, then the public will lose interest, lose confidence in our ability to investigate anything that happens to them. So the problem will be that, well, if the child is unprotected, we have responsibility to protect the child. So if we cannot protect this child, and we cannot find the perpetrator of this, then what are we there for? Why am I saying this? When it comes to Liberia, right, the public has to believe that the police or our law enforcement authorities have the ability to protect them. They also have to believe that the law enforcement authority can exercise objectivity and seriousness when it comes to investigation without being seen as taking sides. You know what I mean? Without being seen as taking sides. So it is important then, given the guidance done on government official, it is important that LNP attach seriousness to this. But the problem again, it goes back to other cases. We had a situation on our Princess Games case. We had a situation with Bobby Niswa. We had a situation with the Gifting Lama and things like that. Because of the lackadaisical approach towards that situation, so people are saying, even though LNP is doing the right thing in this case, this is what we always wanted LNP to do. Attach seriousness to these kind of cases of serious public interest because it gives the public confidence in your ability to protect them. And it also can make the public lose confidence in your ability to protect them. So LNP has to take this case seriously. They have a responsibility to ensure that the investigation is done effectively and efficiently. And when I listen to the chief press conference, the people that were involved is good. The problem is you have other avenues you can take to show the public that you are serious. We cannot be taking one of the things is to restrict that guy moment. If you are not restricted, you can restrict that guy moment. Another thing is this man can be charged with corruption of a minor. I think that the elements for that charge has been satisfied. So
okay.
If there was sexual intercourse, the minor is saying that this person did it, and it's proved that she was temporary. Corruption of a minor charge can be gotten before you seek the rape charge as you wait for DNA evidence.
Okay. Let me. I've sent a link to the show to your messenger, so you can be watching while we take some calls. I'll come back to you. Okay, let's take some of your calls now on 777-700 995 555 995 995. The numbers to call, and you will be true to the OK conversation. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Welcome, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Let me just go out and listen to them. Let me just think people after Charles Johnson, I listen to him well. But I think it's injustice to the family of that little girl. And last month, the 30th, the kids have been reported to the Lebanon police. Not today, the 21st. The man had not been.
It was on the 30th the case was reported, or that's when it came up.
It was on the 30th the case was reported. They came on the 27th. On the 30th the case was reported.
Yeah.
I'll
try to find out.
Yeah, the RG met that when you had a press conference about last week.
Oh, okay.
Up now, the man are not being arrested. The treaty inside the manor. That child is going to trauma and thing. I think it's bad. It's bad for the country. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Okale. We are anticipating Dr. Lawrence Bropley to come in. Let's take more calls. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius J.
Otavi Williams, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my brother. So I heard you talking to someone security personnel or someone with experience in security. But this is my issue, right? What the law says, what the law on rape says, what is the law on the book saying?
What is it saying?
Raped, yeah, that it should be passing around, then the police that to call press conference with the person, and the police that call press conference with the person, then the police they investigate. That why you lost it? But listen to me. They say if you want to do patronizing, then it come in conflict with reality and truth telling. It is a difficult thing to do. Almost like you won't say Buni and the Buna, writing Buni. It's very difficult to say. The law on the book is clear and is plain. And this is a reminder of a situation on President Salif. One of our pastor director, granddaughter, was tampered with. And the woman was unable to be frank and true to the issue. Any Johnson Salif, former President Salif, walked downstairs and told us from today, say you choose to compromise a rape situation, then leave the place because I don't want to dismiss you, my friend. There's just an equivalent. And you know, when they do this thing and come back, we say rule of law. Is the government performing on the strategic plan of rule of law? Then we'll have another issue again. People should stop creating argument because the man involved are my friend or he belongs to the Unity Party. No. It must be a straightjacket issue.
Okay.
So for me, I just want to know what the law says pertaining rape, alleged rape victims, and a perpetrator. What the law says.
Thanks so kindly.
We should implement.
Thanks so kindly, Octavian Williams. Let me read something from an attorney at law. Let me take this one first. Welcome. Let's hear you from our Representative Nyinka.
Timothy, thank you for the opportunity. Let me thank Kutabi who just left the line. Also recognize and thank Alfred, my own junior with these expert opinions. You understand? Okay, but here's a point. Like Otavian said, the law is the controlling principle, is the governing regime as far as enforcement is concerned, because it is the enforcement of the law that you are bothered with. So you can't blame Alfred much because he doesn't know the specific law or what does the law say on rape, right? So because if he knew, then he would speak about the enforcement of that law. So the rape law is very clear. Firstly, let me premise my comment by saying, you see, I was at the legislature when we passed on the rape law, and a small background will remind us that the intent was extremely serious. It was intended to instill fear in any man, so to speak, who attempt engaging in rape. At the time, we all agreed that rape was and still remains a human rights crime, a serious, barbarous violation, and therefore we needed to do all we could at the time. So what we did was we said, look, we could go back to the law if we want to, but the law is a law, and as it is, it has to be enforced. We said, look, anybody accused of raping, particularly the minor, in most cases we say statutory rape, somebody who doesn't have the age of consent yet, because it was getting rampant and uncontrollable all over the place. 2-year-old, 1-year-old, 7-year-old, people's children were being destroyed, people were getting killed, even in rape, murder in rape action. So we said, all you need to do, as soon as you establish a probable cause, underline the phrase probable cause, let the person be immediately arrested. In fact, a special rape code was established. The intention was that you can't go to because of the severity we are attached now to rape, there was no need to refer you to a magisterial court. Normally, magisterial court is a court of first instance. So, because we have lifted this to so serious a crime, we said the magistrate will have no authority to make any determination as to what you call preliminary hearing. So you move straight to the rape code. Therefore, that's how it has been all along. All along, the practice has been very clear. Any man accused of rape, you start with probable cause, you arrest him. You don't call the police. Even when Kuma was still police IG, people arrested the same way. When did this change? That's the point.
Okay.
When there's no consistency in the enforcement of the law, then you.
But I think that's the same thing I first spoke about.
Yeah. He didn't speak squarely. I agree. He spoke on the enforcement aspect, but he didn't speak on what the law says. Because if the law says where there's a probable cause, they get 14 years.
The police can argue that they don't have probable cause yet.
Well, what do you mean by probable cause? There's a medical examination that has been proven. Medical examination was done and said the girl was tampered with clearly. The guy said the person who tampered with me is this guy. This guy is not a 1-year-old child. She's a 14-year-old child, meaning she can recognize people. So right there, a probable cause has been established.
And so that is your argument that there's a medical report that says this has happened and the person has identified someone.
That's a law.
So
that's a law.
Okay.
I'm talking back now, medical report. Let me just say 1 second. The police station is not the court. That's the point we're trying to make. So the IG cannot be saying we should have unimpeachable evidence before we go to court. You leave that for the court to decide. You establish probable cause, or you call prima facie, then we move to the court. It is the jury that has the authority to establish the relevancy and credibility of the evidence, not the police officer. That's what I'm doing again.
Yeah, my guess is that, but I want to do this quickly. Stay on the line. Let me read something that
What is
came.
it?
Let me read something that came from an attorney at law. Quickly.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah. That would be smart.
I'm here.
You already like talking plenty, so that one issue.
No, it's not talking plenty.
So,
it's about the law.
yeah, he says we must remember that the code of public opinion is quite different from the code of law, where the rules of evidence are indispensable. Do we want the accused to be arrested, hastily charged, detained, and then acquitted within a few months only to return to the community? Or would we rather have a thorough investigation, even if it takes a month or two, leading to proper charges, detention, prosecution, and a conviction that ensures justice for years? The answer lies in the gathering of credible evidence and exclusive responsibility of the LMP to secure a successful prosecution. The injured Togba case is a lesson learned. What do you say to that?
The attorney at law is my senior in law because I'm still a student. He has graduated, clear cut, and so he knows the law. But everything we have said, there's an adage in law that says justice delayed, justice denied. Besides that, we don't go to court to convict. We go to court to establish justice. That's all. So we go to court as a possibility bill, can be vindicated and acquitted completely.
And so what Sandra Dubois' argument is to ensure that we have serious evidence that will ensure that justice is served.
I agree with you. The whole theory on evidence is clear, but we can't do for the court what the police officers are trying to do. Is what the court should do.
Okay.
So present evidence and let them try the evidence. Simple as that.
Thanks so kindly, student at law, J. Gabriel Nyeka. Let's go back to Alfred Johnson just for 1 minute to just wrap up with us here. We let him go. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Alfred, you are back. You follow the cause.
Yeah, Julius. Yeah, Julius, please give me a little bit, not 1 minute, 2 minutes, please, because there are a couple of things I want to address real quick.
Yeah, two minutes.
So, as law enforcement professional, we don't deal with it. We look at the law. We investigate within the context of the law to set aside the elements of the law. What the law says about rape, it says intentional penetration, vandalization, and something without the victim's consent. The issue, like I said, there are two counts of victims. There are two counts of suspect that we don't know that is running around raping people. You can do a speedy investigation. I mean, they have to rush to that case. The second one is a suspect that is known in this case of the deputy minister. We know this suspect, so what LMP can do is to restrict his movement and take their time to investigate it. Now, I agree with Mr. Nika because the girl said, the LMP chief said she was tempered with, and the girl said, the person who tempered with me is this guy. So LMP, the two elements have been met. It was without consent. So there was penetration, tempering, and the person, the suspect has been identified, and it was without consent. The thing about it is that in this kind of situation, we have to be very careful. It is not that we don't want justice for the victim, but we also have to understand that in the process of getting justice for the victim, we have to be very careful because that's how people lose cases. We saw the situation with the Glorious Clark case. We've seen the situation with the Capital Fire situation. We've seen that. We all want LMP to exercise care in investigating these things. So I'm not. The elements have been established for probable cause to arrest this guy, but it's not just about arresting him. Can we get enough of conviction? So the DNA evidence, I think they should arrest him by this time based on what the girl said and the fact that penetration happened, it has been established. Then the DNA evidence can push it. But if this guy is available and he's now fly rate and seeing that, LMP is not wrong for LMP to wait for the DNA to have a solid case. Because the DNA comes out and says, yeah, this guy is the one who did that, his DNA was found again, and it was without consent, penetration happened. We don't just have a case of, we don't just have charges anymore. We will have conviction because his DNA was found is good. So in as much as I understand what Mr. Nika is saying, the law says, but in his interest of investigation, he knows that the proof to arrest is not the same as the proof to convict. And we have asked LMP to be careful in their investigation. I think they are doing it. My only problem with them is they should have done this thing a long time ago because now the lack of education for the public is affecting their credibility LMP. It is not unusual. This is what we do on this side. We don't just rush to arrest somebody who has been accused of rape if that person is known, because we have to investigate. Rape is a serious charge, politically, economically, and in terms of image, and in terms of freedom. It's serious. So in order for you to arrest somebody for that, not just arrest, to be able to get a conviction, you have to do what needs to be done. And LP is doing the right thing. The problem with them is the fact that this guy is passing around this. There does not seem to be some sort of restriction on this guy movement. And that's the issue. LP has to inform the public. But I do not have problem with the process they are undertaking, because that's a normal process you have to go through with rape.
Okay.
The issue with them is they have not done this in the past.
Alfred Johnson, thanks so kindly for always being on hand when we have these issues.
Thank you, Julius.
Okay, that's Alfred Johnson there. It will continue to go on. We will see how it pans out. We have with us the Reverend Dr. Lawrence Brubler. It's been a little while since he was last here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Julius. It's good to be here. And greetings to all my mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers across the length and breadth of our world where this program is being aired. It's good to be here. Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah. How is life going?
Life is fantastic.
What are you doing these days?
Well, as a lawyer, I am doing what I know to do, running the firm, doing transactional court work. In fact, I was in court today.
Oh, okay.
You also know that I'm very busy with my work in Upper Buchanan at the United Methodist Church, one of the oldest churches in the Republic, Charles Aaron White United Methodist Church. Very busy there.
Which year was it established? They usually have the years somewhere on
18.
18. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 18. It was before the Republic. I'll think about it just now.
Yeah.
You can imagine I'm the pastor of the church, and then it goes blank. But quite busy, you know. And just got back from the States. My brother Paul turned 70 years old.
Wow. Okay.
That was very significant for our family because we lost our mother when she was in her early 50s. My father in his early 60s. So Paul, the oldest brother, the oldest child, turning 70 was quite significant. So we went to Houston, Texas, and it was a 3-day event. Fit for a king.
Did you tap into his blessings of longevity?
Absolutely, as always. And I do that by ordering my steps by his steps, because he orders his steps in the Lord, and being very respectful and tapping into his wisdom. I'm the last in my family, so they all spoiled me constructively. So it was wonderful. I got a chance to go home, to New York and spend some time at home, and it was good. Got back and the rat race begins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you exercise? Because it's also a part of it.
Not as often as I should. Okay. But I do. I'm now learning how to do Tai Chi.
What is Tai Chi?
It's simple. It's quite simple, and it look like you would love it if you do. But it's not the heavy lifting. It's not the heavy running. It's the stretching, similar to yoga, but not quite yoga. And it flexes your muscles, and it helps to take your belly down. But it's a wholesome, functioning exercise.
Okay.
The people in Asia are very good at that, and I've been trying some of that, because getting out, the schedule that I run, getting out in the morning is not it, because I'm at the law firm by 6:37. Going home in the evening is dark because it's the raining season. Darkness comes much earlier. On the weekend, I'm busy with church activities, but my health is important, so I'm making time.
You always mention Buchanan. You have run this for some times now, unsuccessfully though.
Political thing you can't tell yet.
No, I'm not being political. I just want to know if there's still an intention for 2029.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Now, the intention for 2029 and the locale are two different things. There are other requests. It could be Montserrat. There are other requests from many persons within the locale where I am, and the district where I'm in. We're praying about it, and we're consulting.
Okay. Good. Now let's start off with former President Sirleaf. You are an early night or an earlynist, whatever.
She's a mother to me.
Yeah. Were you surprised by her recent response in my interview when she was being accused on social media of giving some form of support to CDC for its headquarters? Were you surprised by that reaction?
No, I wasn't. And in fact, I was consulted prior to yes, and but I was in New York.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not there. But listen, this person can feel comfortable. Because, Julius, it comes a time when you just want to say to people, be reasonable, be logical, be truthful. What we do in our country is the veracity of our speech has a lot to be desired. People have found it a good morning to castigate, relegate, and speak all manner of things about people that they have nothing to do about it. President Sirleaf is somebody, Julius, who not only is she a mother to me, but there's never 2 days that pass that I'm not in contact with President Sirleaf or visiting her home and stuff. And so this is not her in the first place. She's busy across the world doing the things she's doing, running, keeping the center moving with the staff, and still advocating for Liberia. She's not leaning on, if she would help to build any political party office, it would be the UP, because that's her party and that's where she put a lot of her energy, a lot of her resources. So, it's just unfortunate that people would do these kinds of things.
Others said the kind of language and the way that she responded to
She was fed up.
Was harsh.
She was fed up. She was fed up.
What people think she should have thick skin. She has been there. She's done that.
She does.
She has seen a whole lot.
She does. For 12 years, she had thick skin. Now, if you ask me that if it were to be tomorrow that this question would be asked, her response would be slightly different.
Why so?
Because hindsight is 20/20. But she was just fed up, and we need to stop this in Liberia. Stop doing this to good people.
Okay, now you are also a diplomat, so let's put that hat on. The United Nations General Assembly is ongoing. President Boakai is there. Liberia will be assuming the non-permanent membership seat next year. What do you think may be happening diplomatically around the Liberian delegation?
Well, the UNGA at 80. A lot of things will be happening, and there's a lot of places, sideline events, General Assembly events. First is dealing with global conflict and peacekeeping. It's a major issue, Julius, because you look across our globe, this is a problem. Every day you're finding in this region and that region some semblance of conflict, and those conflicts, they begin to go through metamorphoses, and then they escalate, and then it becomes so difficult because lives, property, little children, babies have been affected. So ongoing conflicts in the regions like Syria, Yemen, of course, in Ukraine and Gaza, they will challenge the UN peacekeeping efforts. Because the UN, yes, a world body, unfortunately, the way that it is structured, and particularly with the Security Council, you just need one veto. And everything that everybody else has said go in the air. And so that's going to be one of the issues. Now, the effectiveness of peacekeeping mission many times has been questioned with the UN. I have to say, Liberia made history because the peacekeeping mission in Liberia was effective. It was successful because stop the fighting, maintain the peace, guide the country to elections. That happened.
And then stay here after election.
And stay here in order to make sure that people don't get frisky and try to do some things. So that was quite effective. But now we're seeing that there's so many other constraints that troubles the UN. Trouble may be a strong word, but that hampers the UN's ability. The UN has not been able to raise the kind of funding, Julius, that it really needs to do a lot of its work. And so, and you got big hands, if I
have all
would
these
say,
powerful nations there. So.
but the powerful nations are not funding the UN the way they're supposed to, particularly the United States. And you see the pullout, from the human rights area, you see the pullout, and this is affecting, they say on easy lies the head that wears the crown. So if you claim to be the greatest nation in the world, then you have a responsibility, not to be the chief police, but to guide the process and to be able to allow this body whose coming together was so excellent. I never forget, I was a student in graduate school in Illinois, and when the first Iraq war happened, and this was the senior President Bush, and the bombing had started, and at the time it was President Butcher's Ghali, and he was entering the elevator going upstairs, and the media people came to him and said, Mr. Secretary General, did you hear about the bombing in Iraq and stuff? And he said, no. So were you not consulted? He said, no. He said, America is doing it. He said, I wasn't. I said, what do you have to say about this? He said, it's quite unfortunate. So if you have a body like the UN, and then, you don't give it its due deference in helping, without the UN, much of the world will be in chaos, Julius, and it's done much good. It's not perfect. It's not going to take us to heaven, but it can help to ease the tension on earth. So the UNGA at 80 has a lot to deal with. Then you've also got the issue of human rights. It's violation across the world. Look at Liberia. Look at different reports that come in terms of the violation of human rights and across the world. Then you got climate change. It is an issue. So what's happening with the Sustainable Development Goals? It will soon be 2030. We just got 5 more years. Are we leading to meeting those goals? Where are we? Are we haphazardly moving ahead, or are we comprehensive in terms of our humanness in trying to help to make the world a better place? So the lack of funding is also going to have a big issue, with the 80th session of the General Assembly, because the issues that affect the world, Julius, in these countries, they're geopolitical issues. The regionalization of these issues is something that now the UN lays it out. It gave support, but the regional bodies, ECOWAS, SADC, and all of these have got a major role to play because they understand in a more perfecting way the contextual relevance in these regions.
Now,
funding is a problem.
Mm-hmm. That's the general note. How can Liberia assert herself in all of these engagements?
Liberia has Liberia has a great story. Would I like to say that we are so much better now? Yes, I like to say that. The reality on ground says that we're moving incrementally to getting there. But Liberia now finds itself as a non-permanent member of the Security Council beginning next year. And you see that it seems to be the newest quote-unquote check on the block. So everybody is admiring Liberia, and everybody wants to talk to Liberia. And that's true. We have a lot to say to people. But its presence on the Security Council should be one where it becomes assertive, try to enhance the UN's role as mediator, because it's being challenged these days. And the complex landscape, that the UN navigates, Liberia can help to play a very constructive and positive role. I'm proud of the efforts of our country and the leadership of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and everybody, the guidance of President Sirleaf and everybody who have pushed, Liam Bowie and others who pushed to get us where we are, and thanks to our countries across the world. So Liberia becomes even more strategic come January of next year. How we use that?
Yeah, because that's where I'm going in terms of during the term of President Sirleaf was development diplomacy. I think it is the same thing that is continuing. How can we accrue development out of those kinds of engagements?
And that's where we must go. Now, they've got to very good. You got a pair at the UN office. You got Ambassador Brown and Ambassador Baba Sila, who I think are doing a great job with the guidance of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and in filling the specialty role of whoever will go January to help that mission at the Security Council. I think Liberia can become very suave in the way that it exerts its presence at the Security Council, on the Security Council, and be able to, like we'll say in America, bring home the bacon. It has a lot to share with peacekeeping. It has a lot to share in terms of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of a people who were once down but seems to be getting up. We got good experience in terms of the struggles that we have had. So Liberia will be a key partner in helping the UN through the Security Council to guide some of these processes and some of these conflicts across the world. I mean, now you got the issue of these group or country says Palestinian state, we're recognizing it. Israel and a few others say, no, it's not going to happen. That is a conflict to pay attention to.
And of course, with the U.S. standing with Israel.
Absolutely. And with this imbalance of the Security Council, because it's just take one to say, I veto, and there's a problem.
Let's come back home. You've been around. You are a legal person. You were an official in government. You're very almost like in the kitchen cabinet of President Sirleaf when you were there. I'm bringing you to something very strategic, very important for the growth and development of our country, resources, which are usually managed through concessioning. And a whole lot has happened. We beat on past administrations in time past about the kinds of concession deals, and we say we want to do it better, and still it's like we're not getting it right. Your own Bassa, there is some noise about some iron ore stuff that were left there and all. So there's a whole lot around concessions. Let's get your idea about why do we have the problems we have, first of all, with concessions.
I think, and let me speak a bit as a lawyer, I think the spirit and intent of these concessions are spoken of in a novelty way. It excites the public. We've got a $1 billion investment coming. This company, we got $250 million. And then in actuality, when we get to the actual mineral development agreement, It falls short. That's number one. The second aspect is the lack of enforceability of these mineral developments. It's a major problem. I was listening to you earlier. I'm talking about Oronto and B Mine company, somebody had called. In this day and age, why are the people in those areas still don't have clean drinking water or the kind of sanitized area, that they have? Why? It's almost like we put together these mineral development agreements and we forget about it. These areas are, the oversight is with our representatives and our senators. When these agreements are being put together, Julius, sometimes I ask, and I got a lot of good friends in the legislature, and I always ask them, did you actually get experts? Real experts, not political experts. That's one. And the experts must also have the hopes and dreams and aspirations of developing the country, not seeking public appearance so that day after tomorrow they say, I want to run for office.
Let me just inform the public we have some power issues, so we are now running on the generator is off, LEC left, so we could go off anytime. Just in case you stop hearing us, it means we're off.
You haven't brought me on for about 6-7 months. Is that a sabotage?
Well, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I know.
So Julius, it's a problem. I have reviewed some of these agreements, and I'm like, So then, even from President Sirleaf's time, we do these agreements, and then we come back, and then the very legislature that it passed through. Ratification, right? And then somebody wakes up in the morning and get on the floor and say, we gotta recall this, we gotta bring this back, we gotta review it. But you were there when it passed. Again, the spirit and intent. So now you put a few lawmakers together and you say, let's summon these people, let's sit there, and why you haven't done this? But you pass an imperfect agreement. One that didn't have the heart of the people as its centrality.
There's an issue of the balancing act between the needs of Liberia and also the profit making for the concessionaires, given what the constraints are in the country, issues of electricity, roads, and all those kinds of things factored in. Concessionaires will say they go through a lot and all that. How do you balance it out? How does the country benefit, and how do concessionaires make profit?
Well, no, and it is a balancing act, and you have to be very crafty in a constructive way in how you do it. But Julius, the way that we do what we do in Liberia, the question becomes, do we need all that different aspect and segments of government, get in order to survive? And so you look at these concession agreement, you look at the perks and the kickbacks. And so the concessionaires say, well, if I got to give all this perk and kickback, then I have to watch my bottom line, because these are business people. And so you find that some of these concession agreements, a few people benefit more than even the people in whose areas these concession agreements have been signed and people are operating. So I don't know the answer to this, but what I do know is we are shortchanging our people in many of these agreements. Look at what you raised, Oronto. Are we serious? This is deja vu. And we're moving ahead. And there are segments of our society that are celebrating this. I don't know. It's maybe it's a mindset thing. I think we just love to hear that these things are happening, but in actuality, do we really love our country?
Yeah, to say the government attracted this investment
Is it really an investment?
Well, perhaps that is what it is said to be. Now, there is somewhere important too. I wanted us to go beyond the concessions. Now, you spoke about waking up, going to work by 6 o'clock early in the morning. The mindset of the average Liberian dealing with work, in dealing with issues of the growth and development of a society. I have read and heard from a whole lot of people how sometimes having people from the country within their employees and their entities run them down. Sometimes people do not attach seriousness and all of that. Do you want to speak to that?
Julius, it may have been with you or with clients, but one time I was on this very network and I talked about the idea of corruptibility. And I said the biggest corruption